is that what? Think of this, I always think about this, is that when we got to breathing, we think about inflating and deflating. So when people say, oh, I take in my air and I do this, yeah, I got support, you could hit me in my stomach. That is the most radical thing I've heard. But I was taught that way. Yeah, I hit my stomach, and the instructor would hit me in my stomach. Bang! If he could knock me down, bend this, and knock me, this would cave in. He said, you're not supporting. So that's muscle, brass muscle instrument. So you're talking about brass wind. We should have the what? Wind support. You see? So here when we are breathing, this must deflate here. And what happens, and see, we get to the process of the breathing. If you notice here, this goes in here, and I'm soft here. Now, Mr. Arnold Jacobs said this, strength is, there's a saying that strength is man's enemy. Weakness is man's friend. So that means you got strength down here, that's your enemy. Now I'm going to try to talk off of that with this out here. Good morning, how are you doing? How you getting along? Now I'm going to try to blow. Or whatever. I can't. So here now watch. Weakness. This is going to what? She said deflate. Deflate, especially when you exhale. People are going to what? They're going to what? Inflate and keep inflate when you try to exhale? No. So that doesn't make sense. It's inflate and deflate. So here, now, I'm going to talk. Good morning, how are you doing this morning? This is Saul. Good morning, how are you doing this morning? I can blow off that too. See? So it goes back, if I'm taking and going to blow, and I'm saying that, I'm going to tighten up. Now I'm going to try to talk off of that. I can't. Now I'm going to try to blow off of that. I'm all tight. So here, when I inflate, this expands, that the diaphragm calls downward, chest, the thorax expansion here. This is only to what? Fill the lungs up from the bottom up to the top for inhaling. This has to be soft here to deflate. Because it will have to deactivate itself when you exhale. And the diaphragm goes back up to its original position. And another set of muscles come in to actually move the air out, and that's the intercostal around here, the rib muscles. So here when I say, excuse me, when you do that, your pants come down. That's the reason why they wear suspenders in the orchestra, I think. Yeah? They probably won't tell you that, you know. But here, if I say, I'm going to say, see? Watch. When this goes in and it's soft here, I can, see? Now if I do this, or either if I press here, nothing. But if I say, so. Easy. And the wind is doing the work. Okay. Any questions thus far?
Over here.
Yes. All right. Hello? Somebody have a question? All right, go ahead.
Is wind air?
Yes, it is. Wind is air flow. It's air flow. You see, if I think about air by itself, air is all around us, but it's no movement. It's stagnant. But when I think about air flow, I'm thinking about movement. And wind has movement. That's what you're going to be thinking in terms of wind. You See? Now, another factor is that comes up. If I think about, if I get air pressure, if I got air pressure, nowhere I can have airflow or wind. So then that means all this tightness here and pressing here is no good. You see? That means if I'm pressing up in here, now I'm going to get up in here, I'll probably get a sound, but it's kind of covered. If I say what? So that's covered, that's a covered sound. Because what, the timbre even what changed all together. Now, without doing that, is there a difference in that? You see? But I don't have any tension, no what? Pressure up here, none down here. It's just the wind is doing the work for me. See? That is a very significant thing. Because when I get this up in here and pressing and pushing, then the throat closes off. Then after a while, here in the embouchure, that's a different thing too. You know, when you play, you gotta have the aperture open. Here, whatever you do, if you buzz the sound out, you blow the sound out, you gotta have aperture. Once the aperture closes down, it's like a reed on an oboe. If you notice, the oboe reed always will have that little aperture in there. You gotta fit your lips not to compress that reed down. If you compress that reed down, boom, it's not gonna vibrate. So that's the same thing here. These are our reeds here, like an oboe. This, here. See? I know that's all day. I'm hearing the sound in my head up here. I'm not thinking about what sound's coming out the bell. Now, that brings us into another thing, and then after this we're going to get into some jazz, I think. If we have a little time. What time we have now?
You got about 50 minutes?
Oh, about food. Gee, I get fascinated with this. I just thought I would bring this out today. Now, there's another factor that comes up that's very significant, is the brain. The role of the brain with playing the instrument. Something I tell my students all the time. They say, well, Prof, how are you going to talk about the brain? I say, this controls all the functions on your body. The brain controls respiration, it controls the nervous system, digestive system, every system. Like when my mother came down with Alzheimer's. The substance, stopped the function of all of the centers up here for her functions. So she couldn't do anything. Eventually she was just like, she had to put in diapers and all that because, it was no connection. So the brain has a lot to do with that. I try to see out of certain areas of the brain when I play. Now I'm going to explain those areas. All right? Now, we say we got the human structure and function of the brain. All right. Now, there's two types of trumpet players out there. Let me put that. It's the oral trumpet player. This is the person that has an oral perception of what he wants to sound like before he starts. Right? He can solfege. You see a piece of music here, what would he do? He knows how it's going to sound. And he go about to what? Well, he knows how it's going to sound. So he doesn't have to sit there and analyze from a valve here. Oh, he can't hear it, so I press that valve. Maybe that's it. See, that creates another thing. And then what he hear up here, and the oral perception of the brain before he plays comes out oral.